What do you say?
जो आप स्लाइड भेजते हैं ना वो कह रहा ओपन किस तरह वो पीडीएफ डाउनलोड कर लेगा.
Okay, ask your friend. Ask your friend. He will tell you. Yes, dear students. We have already discussed the evolution of democracy. Turn that fan off. We have already discussed the evolution of democracy in Greece and Rome. Today, we discuss the evolution of democracy in Northern Europe. Rome and Greece, they are in Southern Europe. They are in Southern Europe. Today, we discuss Northern Europe. And as you know, our discussion is based on Robert Dahl's book on democracy, and it is the second part of chapter 2, Northern Europe. We have discussed Greece, Rome, and Italy. And Greece, Rome, and Italy, they all lacked several of the crucial characteristics of modern representative government. You know representation? Representation, you understand? Yes. Yes, okay, I explain it. In ancient Greece, there were no representatives. That was direct democracy. Citizens themselves participated in the meetings of the assembly, and they would choose the rulers. They would make the laws, citizens themselves. In four, in this modern age, do you ever go to the assemblies? Do you ever go to Punjab Assembly? Do your parents go to Punjab Assembly or National Assembly? Do they take part in the assembly in elections? No, they don't make laws. You don't make laws yourselves. At that time, citizens themselves would go to the assembly. They would choose the rulers, the chief ministers, the prime ministers, for example, and they would make the laws themselves. Now, in this modern age, please turn your phones on silent mode. Turn your phones on silent mode. Okay. Now, in this modern age, countries are very big. Countries, states are very big. Millions and millions of people are there. So, is it possible for all the citizens to go to the assembly themselves? No, it is not possible. So, for to address this problem, representation was invented. Now, people from different areas send their representatives. We choose our representatives. MPA, MNA, they are our representatives. They represent us in the assemblies, councillors, district nazims, chairpersons. Okay, they are our representatives. They are our representative. This system is called representation. This system is called representation. In the ancient democracy, there was no representation. Representation was invented in modern age. So, ancient cities of Greece, Rome, and Italy, they all lacked several of the crucial characteristics of modern representative government. Classical Greece was composed of popular local governments. Classical Greece was composed of popular local governments. Medieval and Renaissance Italy was also composed of popular local governments, but they lacked an effective national government. There was no national government. Rome had just one local government based on popular participation, but it did not have any national parliament of elected representatives. There was no national parliament. From today's perspective, absent from all these systems were at least three basic political institutions. Three basic institutions were absent. They did not exist in ancient times: national parliament, elected representatives, and popularly chosen local governments. They were not there. Local governments did not exist. Only the city government, city state government existed, that were ultimately subordinate to the national government. So, in today's world, local governments are subordinate to the national government. A system combining democracy at local levels with a popularly elected parliament at the top level had yet to be invented. This system was not invented at that time. This combination of political institutions originated in Britain, Scandinavia, the lowlands of Switzerland, and elsewhere north of the Mediterranean. North of the Mediterranean. Lowlands means the region of Scotland lying south and east of the Highlands. The patterns of political development diverged widely among these regions. The patterns of political development diverged widely among these regions. What is political development? Do you understand political development? Anybody can explain it? Yes, political development means when it has several meanings. We can say when more and more people take part in politics, it means political development is taking place. Getting it? Are you getting it? When more and more people take part in politics. If there is only one king who has all the powers and people are not allowed to take part in politics, is it political development? No. It is not political development. When more and more people have the right to take part in politics, it is one characteristic, one basic aspect of political development. Okay. Similarly, if the government is able to provide basic facilities, if the government is able to deliver on its promises, on the demands of the people, it means the political system is developed. Political development has taken place. Okay. But if the government is not able to do anything, it is not political development. So, if people have more rights, more freedoms, more liberties, it is political development. Okay? In Afghanistan, women, girls are not allowed to go to educational institutions. Does it mean political development or not? It is not political development because so many people don't have the right to education. So the patterns of political development diverged widely among these regions. If in Pakistan we have political parties, we go to elections, we hold public meetings, we hold rallies, it means our political system is developing. It has acquired some basic features of political development.
Sir, Sir, why Pakistan system is not developed?
There are different levels of development. There can be hundreds of levels of development. Some political systems are more developed, some are less developed. Okay, so some are least developed. In countries like Afghanistan, they are least developed. There is no political development, almost no political development. But if you compare Pakistan with many other countries in Asia, Africa, and in the Muslim world, you can see our political system is much more developed than them. We should not compare Pakistan with advanced democracies which are 300, 400 years old. Pakistan is only 70, 80 years old. Okay? So it is not a scientific approach to develop a new state with an old state, to develop a new political system with an old political system. British and American democracies are centuries old, 300, 400 years. Okay? So it is not fair. It is not appropriate to compare our political system with theirs. We can compare Pakistan's political system with other Muslim countries, with other Asian countries, and with other post-colonial countries. You know post-colonial? The countries which were colonies in the past. India and Pakistan were colonies of the Great Britain. Then they got freedom. Now they are post-colonial. Pakistan and India are, and many other countries, they are post-colonial countries, post-colonial states. So we can compare Pakistan with other post-colonial countries. So if you compare Pakistan's political system with other Muslim countries, how many Muslim countries are there in the world? 50, 60 countries, okay? Yes, more than 50. So you will see Pakistan is among the top 5 with reference to rights, with reference to freedoms, with reference to elections, with reference to political parties, with reference to media. Name any other country which is ahead of us in Muslim world. Name any other country which is more developed democratically, politically. Yes, which one is on the first number? Or in the Muslim world?
Yes.
Which one is, in your opinion? Okay, you tell me. You tell me. Anybody?
Indonesia.
Okay, Indonesia, one. Any?
Malaysia?
Okay, Malaysia, Iran, then? Eh? Saudi is politically developed. How many political parties are there in Saudi Arabia? Have you ever seen a Saudi prince or a Saudi king among millions of people, thousands of people, addressing them, shaking hands with them? Have you ever seen? Okay. Indonesia. I don't think it is more developed than Pakistan, democratically. Maybe in economy, it has made some successes, but politically, it is not more developed. Similarly, in Malaysia, it is minority rule. Do you know this?
Yes.
How?
सर
How is it minority rule?
वहाँ पे ज़्यादा आवाम की सुनी जाती है जिसकी वजह से जहाँ पे ज़्यादा
There are 3 big ethnicities: Malays,
Yes,
Indians, and Chinese.
Chinese.
Indian and Chinese are more in number in Malaysia than the Malays. Malays are locals. But in the constitution, in the Malaysian law, Malays rule. All key posts are in the hands of the Malays. So Malays are in minority in Malaysia, but they rule the country, they rule the majority. And people say They enjoy the subsidies, powers, perks, and privileges, and more taxes are levied on Indians and Chinese. So, is it political development? No, it is not political development. Political development starts with political equality. When all citizens are dealt with equally in the eyes of the law. Okay, so Malaysia is not politically more developed than us. Economically, it is ahead of us. Economically, it is stronger than Pakistan. Yes, I agree. But politically, Pakistan is ahead of Malaysia. You have more equality, more parties, more political rights, more freedoms in politics. In Iran, you know, the supreme leader is more powerful than anybody else. Do you agree with this? Do you know this? The supreme leader of Iran is more powerful even than the parliament. In Pakistan, you know, parliament is stronger than the prime minister, than the president. The parliament constitutionally, legally can send them home. The parliament, if Parliament of Pakistan passes vote of no confidence, the prime minister will go home. He will be no more the prime minister. Do you know this? Similarly, the parliament can impeach the president. The Parliament of Pakistan, your representatives, they can impeach the president of Pakistan. And if he is impeached, he will go home. So Parliament has more powers against the government, the cabinet, the executive. In Iran, can the parliament send the supreme leader home? No. No. So Pakistan's political system is more developed. There is more political development in Pakistan than Iran. So think any other Muslim country which is ahead of us. I think no Muslim country is ahead of Pakistan. Turkey is a good example, but even I doubt. I think Turkish political system, economically it is ahead of us. It is stronger than Pakistan. But politically, you know, Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been ruling for so how many years? For several. He has enjoyed several tenures, and no party is able to replace him. So it is another example of another dimension of political development. In Pakistan, almost in every election, you have a new government. So there is more political competition. In a way, there is more political competition in Pakistan. So you have more political leaders. Similarly, in Asia, there are, I think, more than 60 countries in Asia. Which countries are politically more developed in Asia, more developed than Pakistan? Japan is more developed, let me tell you. Japan is in Asia, and Japan is a developed democracy, advanced democracy. Similarly, Taiwan. Taiwan is an advanced democracy. Then South Korea. South Korea. These three countries are clearly more developed, politically more developed than Pakistan. India, I doubt. In India, people don't have any more freedoms than Pakistan. You know how they are dealing with the minorities, how they are treating their minorities, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, very poor. Kashmiris, what are they doing to Kashmiris? Is it a political development? The way the Indians are dealing with them, treating them. So, in a way, Pakistan's political system, I think, is more developed than even India. So, in any case, in Asia, Pakistan's political development is among top five. Top five. Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea are clearly ahead of us, and the others, 2-3 cases are that there is doubt. Indonesia, Turkey, India, it is doubtful. So top 5, top 10. So it simply means we have achieved so much. Pakistan. Things are relative. There's nothing absolute. So we should understand, we should try to understand Pakistan's political system, political development in relation to other countries, other similar countries. Same is the case with the post-colonial states. Pakistan is clearly among top 5. So we should not be hopeless. We should celebrate. We should cherish it. We should be happy that we have done well. Our leaders, our parties have done well. They have made sacrifices for our rights, freedoms, for democracy. And our parliament is becoming stronger with time. And people are becoming more aware. Now I'm happy that girls drive e-bikes, scooties. It is a big development. It simply means the girls have got confidence. They are empowered. Now their parents trust them. So in your neighborhoods, in your neighboring countries, girls are not even allowed to go to school. And you are go to universities, do businesses, and ride the bikes and cars. So you are a lot of ahead of them. Pakistan is making a lot of progress. So a highly simplified version would look something like this. In various localities, freemen and nobles would begin to participate directly in local assemblies. In various localities, freemen and nobles would begin to participate directly in local assemblies. To these were added regional and national assemblies in Northern Europe. These assemblies consisted of representatives. Some or all of these representatives would come to be elected. Local assemblies. In Norway, there is a town named as Steinkjer. Norway is in Southern Europe or Northern Europe? Is Norway in Southern Europe or Northern Europe? It is in Northern Europe. It is in Northern Europe. So, local assemblies. In Norway, there is a town named as Steinkjer. Steinkjer is near the city of Trondheim. There is a boat-shaped ring of large stones. Boat-shaped ring of large stones in Steinkjer, Norway. At this place, Viking freemen regularly met. They hold meetings from about 600 CE to 1000 CE. Here, they would hold an adjudicative assembly. In the Norwegian language, this assembly was called a ting, T-I-N-G, ting. This assembly was called a ting. Similar places can be found elsewhere in the vicinity where people held meetings. By 900 CE, assemblies of free Vikings were meeting in the Trondheim region. Such assemblies were also meeting in many other areas of Scandinavia. Ting, it is Thing. It means thing. Yes, the detail is coming. The detail is coming. Such assemblies were also meeting in many other areas of Scandinavia. The ting was typically held in an open field. The ting, the assembly. The word means the thing of the people. Thing of the people, commonwealth. It was marked off by large vertical stones. Large vertical stones. At the meeting of the ting, the freemen settled disputes. They discussed, accepted, and rejected laws in the assembly. They adopted or turned down a proposed change of religion. So, assembly would decide the religion, whether they would change their religion or not, as they did when they accepted Christianity in place of the old Norse religion. They had an old religion. When Christianity came, the assembly decided to adopt Christianity and they became Christians. The assembly decided. And even elected or gave their approval to a king. King was also elected by the assembly, or the assembly would approve the king. King was often required to swear his faithfulness to the laws approved by the king, by the ting. The king had to accept the laws made by the ting, by the assembly. The Vikings knew little or nothing about the democratic and republican political practices 1,000 years earlier in Greece and Rome. They were almost not aware of the ancient democracy in Greece and Rome. They seem to have created assemblies on their own. They invented democracy themselves. They did so operating from the logic of equality. They believed in equality of the citizens. They applied the logic of equality to free men. The idea of equality was alive and well among Viking freemen in the 10th century. It is attested to by an event. There is an event which attests that the Norwegians, they believed in equality. What was the event? Some Danish Vikings were traveling up a river in France. Danish Vikings, free men, they were walking up a river, along a river in France. Someone asked them, "What is the name of your master?" They replied, "None. We are all equals. We have no master. We are all equals." But we must resist the temptation to exaggerate. We should not exaggerate this. The equality that Vikings boasted about applied only among free men. Only free men were equal. Even free men varied in wealth and status. Free men varied in wealth and status. Beneath the free men were the slaves. The slaves were not equal to the free men. The Vikings possessed slaves like the Greeks and Romans, or for that matter, Europeans and Americans centuries later. Among the slaves were enemies captured in battle. Enemies captured in battle would become slaves. The hapless victims of raids, attacks on neighboring peoples were also among the slaves. Among the slaves were persons simply bought in the ancient and ubiquitous commerce in slaves. So slaves were also sold and bought. People could buy slaves. When slaves were freed, they remained dependent on their previous owners. Slaves were a caste below the free men. They were below the free men. They were not equal to the free men. Above the free men was an aristocracy. Aristocracy was also there. More powerful people, more wealthy people, aristocracy, Ashrafia. Aristocracy composed of families with wealth and hereditary status. Wealth was usually in landed aristocracy. At the top, there would be a king. Power of the king was limited by at least three things. Three things would limit the power of the king. Number one, his election. The king was elected. Number two, his obligation to obey the laws. He was supposed to obey the laws. Number three, his need to retain the loyalty of the nobles and the support of the free men. So it was required. In spite of these severe limits on equality, the class of free men was large enough. The class of free men was large enough. The class of free men could impose a lasting democratic influence on political institutions and traditions. Could impose a lasting democratic influence on political institutions and traditions. Among free men were free peasants, smallholders, and farmers. Peasants and farmers are like almost similar. Smallholders who have little piece of land, small pieces of land, smallholders. In several other parts of Europe, local conditions also sometimes favored the emergence of popular participation in government. Free men engaged in pastoral activities. You know pastoral activities? Pastures. What are pastures? Pastures are areas where there is a lot of green grass and the animals can eat that grass. Okay? So there are pastures. So pastoral activities, when the farmers take their animals to the pastures for eating that grass, it is called pastoral activity. Pastoral activity. Free men engaged in pastoral activities in the high mountain valleys of the Alps. For example, what is Alps? It is a mountain range in Europe. Like in Pakistan, you have mountain ranges, the salt range. Similarly, in Europe, there is a mountain range. It is called the Alps. What is its name? Alps. Such condition provided them a measure of protection and autonomy. Raetia or Raetia was an ancient Roman province. Later it became a Swiss canton of Switzerland. A modern writer describes Raetia around 800 CE. Free peasants found themselves in a uniquely egalitarian situation. Egalitarian, when people enjoy equality, it is called egalitarianism. Egalitarian, believing in or based on the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities. It is called egalitarianism. Repeat with me. It is called egalitarianism. Egalitarianism. Egalitarian. These free peasants were bound together by their common status and by their common rights of usage over mountain pastures. So these people could equally use the pastures. They developed a sense of equality. This sense of equality was wholly at odds with the hierarchical, status conscious thrust of medieval feudalism. Before that times, in the medieval times, this equality did not exist. This distinctive spirit was to dominate the later emergence of democracy in the Ratian Republic or Ratian Republic. From assemblies to parliaments. Slide 73. Later, the Vikings ventured westward to Iceland. The Vikings from Sweden and Norway, they traveled to the west, to the Iceland. Sorry? Vikings. They were traders and commerce people and warriors. Okay? And yes. So they were powerful. So they traveled to the westward, to Iceland. But they did more, foreshadowing the later appearance of national parliaments elsewhere. In 930 CE, they created a sort of supra-ting. First in Norway, they created a ting, the assembly. Now they created a supra-ting. The all thing. It meant the all thing, or national assembly. It was the national assembly. You just can imagine that, imagine the provincial assemblies of Pakistan as the tings and the parliament of Pakistan as the all ting. Supra-ting, supra-ting. So they created the National Assembly, the Vikings in Iceland. This National Assembly remained the source of Icelandic law for 3 centuries. 300 years, this supra-ting made the laws for Iceland. Meanwhile, in Norway, Denmark, and Sweden, regional assemblies developed. Regional assemblies, like our provincial assemblies. Then developed national assemblies as in Iceland, and in Sweden, Switzerland, and Norway. The regional assemblies and national assemblies also developed like Iceland. Subsequently, the power of the king and the centralized bureaucracies under his control grew. It reduced the importance of these national assemblies. Later in time, the kings became powerful, the bureaucracies became powerful, and these national assemblies left their mark. What happened? It reduced the importance when the kings became powerful, bureaucracies became powerful, the national assemblies became weak. But these national assemblies left their mark on later developments. For example, there was this tradition of popular participation in the assemblies in Sweden during the Viking period. This tradition of popular participation led in the 15th century to a precursor of a modern representative parliament. It happened with the king when the king began to summon meetings of representatives from different sectors of Swedish society. The king started to convene the meetings of the parliaments. The representatives came from nobility, clergy, burghers, and common people. These were different classes in the society. Nobility, clergy are religious people, burghers, and common people. These meetings eventually evolved into the Swedish parliament. Environment of the Netherlands and Flanders was radically different. Here, the expansion of manufacturing, commerce, and finance helped to create urban middle class. Urban middle class. These urban middle classes composed of persons who commanded sizable economic resources. These urban middle classes composed of persons who commanded sizable economic resources. Rulers perpetually starved for revenues. Rulers needed taxes, they needed income. So they could not ignore this rich class, and the rulers could not tax this rich class without gaining its consent. To obtain consent, rulers summoned meetings of representatives. The representatives were drawn from the towns and the most important social classes. These assemblies and parliaments were often called as estates. As estates. They did not evolve directly into the national legislatures of today. They evolved gradually. They established traditions, practices, and ideas that strongly favored such a development. Meanwhile, from obscure beginnings, a representative parliament was gradually coming into existence. In the centuries to come, that representative parliament would exert far and away the greatest influence on the idea and practice of representative government. This was the parliament of medieval England. It was very, wait. It was a product less of intention and design than of blind evolution. The English Parliament grew out of assemblies during the reign of Edward I from 1272 to 1307. Oh, what is the total number of slides?
120.
Eh?
120.
Okay, let us complete it. Let us complete. The English Parliament grew out of assemblies. The English Parliament of England, grew out of assemblies during the reign of Edward I from 1272 to 1307. These assemblies were summoned sporadically. Sporadically means on and off. Their meetings were not regular. They were summoned under the pressure of need. Whenever the meeting was needed, the meeting was called. Otherwise, there was no meeting. How Parliament evolved from these beginnings is a lengthy and complex story. By the 18th century, however, that evolution had led to a constitutional system. So the states started to make constitutions, basic laws. In this constitutional system, the king and parliament were each limited by the authority of the other. So constitution is a basic law. All other laws are made on the basis of the constitution. So constitution tells what powers, who will have what powers and what functions in the government. It is called constitution. Within parliament, the power of the people in the House of Commons offset the power of the hereditary aristocracy in the House of Lords. So in England, there was a House of Lords, still there is House of Lords. It is like our Senate. And there is a House of Commons, where elected representatives take part in the meetings. It is like our National Assembly, House of Commons. The laws enacted by king and parliament were interpreted by judges. Judges interpret the laws. Though by no means always, the judges were mostly independent of king and parliament alike. The judges were mostly independent of king and parliament alike. It is called independence of judiciary. It is called independence of judiciary. In the 1700s, this was a seemingly marvelous system of checks and balances and the separation of the powers within the government. So the legislature makes laws, the government, the executive implements the laws, and the judiciary resolves the conflicts. So, three pillars of state: separation of powers. On the other hand, if there is no democracy, a dictator or a king has all the powers, making laws, implementing the laws, and resolving the conflicts. So, when power is concentrated, the ruler is more likely to abuse it. So, separation of powers creates checks and balances on different branches of government, and abuse of power is checked. Checks and balances existed among the country's major social forces. This system was widely admired in Europe. This system was admired in other parts of Europe. Among others, it was lauded by the famous French political philosopher Montesquieu. Montesquieu also appreciated it. It was also admired in America by the framers of the Constitution who prepared the Constitution in America. Many of the framers hoped to create a republic in America, but they wanted a republic that would retain the virtues of the English system without the vices of a monarchy. In America, they wanted to have a republic, but they did not want a monarch. In England, there is a monarch. The republic they helped to form would in due time provide something of a model for many other republics. So in later times, the Republic of England provided a model for other republics. The end.